Hello, Planet Earth. Welcome to my YouTube channel. We're at IDK, my BFF Jill 730.
My BFF Jill 730.
I'm Preston L. Young, wishing you warm salutations and congratulations. As always, you've made your way to the Buffington Post.
You are invited!
Alright, so today is June 22nd, 2016, and this afternoon I will be picking up Buffy Season 10, number 28. And so we are back here today to do viewer feedback to see what you guys thought of issue number 27 of Season 10 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Here we go.
This program was made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Alright, so first up we've got Amanda, Miss Knitting Mummy. She says, I love this issue, but then she hated the issue. She's loving Xander and Dawn. She's not a big fan of Angel, and so she doesn't really care about Lila, but she likes the way that everything's kind of coming together across both properties and making the universe, really come together. Amanda feels really bad for Buffy because she's always trying to do the right thing, she's always fucking up, and she doesn't even want to get into what's going on with Buffy and the break between these two characters, right? And so, she's worried about death, like who's going to die. Amanda seems to think that it might be Andrew, since he's kind of a Scooby, but not so Scooby that we'll be completely upset about it. I'm still not thinking that. I'm of the impression that Andrew is probably going to save us all. Maybe he'll die doing it, so that's a thing too. And she says she doesn't want it to be Spike or Dawn who dies, and yeah, so thank you, Amanda. We will, you've actually already read it by now, so jealous. Alright, and then we've got Ken Miller, who wrote his thesis on the issue. He talks about how he likes them bringing Lila in to kind of, again, bridge the world of Angel and Buffy back together, and, her ways of trying to coerce Xander and Dawn he's really liking, and he's hoping that they will come back in Season 11 and play a really big role, which I am also hoping for. He agrees with me about Giles not wanting to grow up himself, and so he doesn't really have a leg to stand on when it comes to telling Buffy that she needs to grow up. He says that he feels like Willow's the only one looking at the bigger picture and handling herself responsibly. He feels really bad for Andrew and how Jonathan, punched him in his emotional gut, and so that's, pretty sad for Andrew, but at the same time, he kind of had it coming, you know what I mean? And I like Andrew just as much as the next guy, but he's been screwing up, and now that he's finally, doing his thing, his past is really coming back to haunt him, and what people think about him is really coming to the forefront. Ken seems to think that Anya will be the one to stop D'Hoffryn, and I kind of agree. I hope that Anya grants Andrew's wish, and maybe wishes, D'Hoffryn or the whole vengeance line out of reality, which I think that's a definite possibility. He seems to think that Anya is truly in love with Xander, but I don't think so. I don't believe so, because it's not really Anya. It's just the best approximation of Anya that Giles could create, and so I don't agree with you there. He really wants for the Primitive to come and speak to her in a dream, but as I've mentioned before, we haven't seen any of the Slayer dreams at all in Season 10, whether it's from Buffy herself or from Faith or Nadira. None of the other Slayers, aside from Billy, have had any Slayer dreams since the destruction of magic, or rather since the new magic was put into the world, and so that's really interesting, and we will be talking about the lack of dreams once the season wraps up and what that might mean going forward. Alright, so next up we've got Crystal Sparkle. Crystal says that she feels like Spike wanting to take a break from Buffy is growth for the character because it's so out of character. He's not somebody who really takes breaks, she says. He's usually just sticking to it no matter what, kind of lost in his own love and crazy, and she says that this is, evidence that Spike is really kind of looking at himself as a person and not just somebody's love interest for a change, which I agree. Alright, so Brandi, Wednesday Churchill, says that this issue really hit her because she's going through her own breakup, and everybody give a little support to Brandi as she's putting her emotions back together after her breakup. We're thinking of you, girl. She says she doesn't blame Spike for wanting a break. He's been nothing but a punching bag for several issues. She completely agrees with me about Buffy, the fact that she's not acting like an adult and being a little bitch. And again, she doesn't think that this is the end of Spuffy either, and, neither do I. And she likes that Xander and Dawn are doing their whole dimension hopping thing, and she likes my prediction about Andrew. And so, yeah, thank you, Wednesday. Alright, and so next we've got Natalia. She says she's enjoying Xander and Dawn a lot, but she feels weird about Buffy. It's nice seeing her fall apart because it reminds her that she's human. But on the other hand, she is screwing up all her relationships. In a way, Natalia says she understands. She always had these huge responsibilities on her shoulders, but at least she had a better idea of how to end the problem. Now she's faced with having to make choices that could affect the whole world. Something like being a world leader or such, and screwing up to that scale of things can, of course, have serious consequences. It's not only about being the hero of the people, or even having a rogue army and being an outlaw. Now she has to take chances and answer to them. And, well, she made mistakes, but as you said, she has to deal with it and go on and do what she does best. And, well, I think that's what has to happen now. Oh, it's Escobedo. I just read your comment all the way, Natalie. You pronounce your name Natalia Escobedo Kenevik. So, thank you. Alright, so moving on to Hayden English. She says, I loved the issue, and I'm excited to see how they wrap the season up in the coming issues. I was glad to have Lila and Wolfram and Hart back, and hope to see them more in the future of the Buffyverse. Will you be reviewing and recapping Buffy the High School Years graphic novels Dark Horse is publishing? I did, Hayden. If you haven't checked that out, you should definitely go and watch my review for that. It is not good. The book, my review's fine. Alright, so then I've got CJ Art 9999. That's a neat name. He says, or she, hey, I don't know. First off, thank you so much for always saying what I am thinking. I think this issue was great, your review was great, and the rest of the season looks like it's going to be great. This person says they hate having to wait for the next issue. And they love that everybody came down on Buffy in this one. She needs to realize some stuff, and I hope she finally does. I feel for her too, though, as she's always carried the weight of the world and has rarely had the chance to just be a kid and do normal kid stuff. I love that Spike didn't just lie down and take her sass, but I hate the idea of them breaking up. I've always been pro-Spike. I did have one scary thought. What if the death is Xander? It might be a long shot, but it would be a bit of a blindside to fans. He's connected to Anya, therefore also to Hoffren. He is less capable of defending himself compared to Buffy, Willow, or Spike. Please let me be wrong. Okay, on this note, Nicholas Brendan has been writing for Buffy this season, and I don't know if you pay any attention to Nicholas Brendan's personal life, but his personal life is not exactly shining a great light on Buffy these days. He's been trying to get his stuff together, and more power to you, Nick, but maybe they'd kill Xander the same way that they killed, spoiler alert, Libby and Ana Lucia in Lost, because they were getting, bad attention to the show, and so, I don't know. That's a whole thing. So Xander could go, and we see on the cover for today's issue that Xander and Dawn are kind of like trapped between different dimensions, it looks like, and so that's a whole thing. And so you might not be too far off with that Xander prediction the more I've been thinking about it. Alright, and last up, we've got Periwinkle Paisley, Miss Jen. She says, like the issue, but not sure if I loved it. Dawn and Xander are cute, love them in the demon neighborhood. It's too bad they had to leave so soon. Spuffy. On the one hand, it's good that Spike is not just going to lay down and let Buffy walk on him. That angel crack was a low blow. On the other hand, it isn't like Spike to abandon the woman he loves right when she needs him. Not very season 7 of him, is it? I liked your idea of her being a cheater. I hate when characters are out of character. And I already responded to Jen about this, but I don't feel like this is out of character for Spike. I feel like Spike is finally looking at himself as being a full person and not just a Spike character. I feel like this is Spike deciding that he's not just going to be Buffy's foil, Buffy's boyfriend, Buffy's whatever. He really needs to be, William. He needs to really be himself for a change, and I feel like that's what he's trying to do by kind of putting his foot down and saying, I'm not just going to sit here and take your shit. And so, yeah, everybody, I'm excited for today's issue. We will talk about it today or tomorrow at the latest. So, everybody stay tuned, have yourselves a lovely day today, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
This program was made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
My BFF. Joe? 730.
Oh, good lord.